Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today for our post-up interview. So excited to be talking to Jaime Harper, who leads our Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. Hey, Jaime, good to see you.
Hey, Matthew, good to see you.
I love that background. That's a very nice, branded, professional-looking background you got there.
Well, thank you very much. I believe these were instructed and provided for us to be able to use on these things, and they look really
They
good.
look top notch, top notch. Man, if only I knew where you could download those for anyone to use, but that's beside the point. So Jaime, so excited to talk to you today. You and I go back a good ways, and you're always such a great conversation. For the folks who in the department who don't know you as well, haven't worked with you as much, kind of talk about your role with the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives and what you do.
Oh, well, how long is this thing supposed to be?
Give me the Reader's Digest version.
The Reader's Digest version. So, what I do is we have 28 coordinators across the state, as well as their supervisors. And so, our coordinators range from 7 faith-based coordinators who work with the faith community and work to help certify uh, faith communities, congregations across the state so that they can be more recovery friendly. We provide access to education as well as recovery resources, work to create partnerships with different congregations and faith communities so that we can be able to fill the gaps that are in each community. Because really, if it's not from the community for the community, it's not going to be as impactful. So we have our coordinators strategically placed. So they are from these communities. They can relate to each demographic and provide the best service possible. We also will have 10 lifeline coordinators. Their job is to work with the general community, providing education, access to treatment recovery services whenever needed, whether the individual has insurance or not. Typically, we can be able to help somebody find whatever they may need in order to begin, maintain, and sustain their recovery. We also have 10 hybrid lifeline coordinators who work in the distressed counties of each state, of each county in the state. So they are a little bit different. It's not so much that they're a hybrid between faith-based and lifeline. Their hybrid is between the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives and DHS. And so we're working alongside with DHS to be able to provide resources from DHS to individuals who are at or below 138% poverty level so that they can gain access to the recovery resources that they need, as well as more specific uh, access to resources such as TANF, SNAP, a lot of educational opportunities and employment opportunities through that as well. And then we have our collegiate recovery director who works on college campuses and university campuses across the state, helping them become more recovery friendly and working to certify a lot of the campuses that are across the state as recovery friendly campuses.
That's awesome. Yeah, just a little bit of work going on out there. I mean, a,
Just
a
a little
team
bit.
a team of what up close to 30 people all across the state. That's got to be fun to manage.
Well, what makes it even more fun is that not only are we close to 30 individuals, it's 30 individuals with lived experience. So we're all, one of the requirements in order to be a coordinator is to be eligible to become a certified peer recovery specialist, certified young adult peer support specialist, and or even family support specialist when necessary or needed. And so we get to go in and actually work with the individuals who are in need of help to have a chat with them, see what's going on so they can get into a place that is beneficial for the individual. We also have those with lived experience walking into the faith community to be able to bridge the connection between the faith community and the recovery resources that are out there. Being able to speak the language of the community, the different faith communities, belief traditions, denominations around the area, so that we can empower the communities to be more recovery friendly.
Yeah. What are when your folks are interacting with, communities of faith, what does that look like? What are kind of the building blocks of what those interactions do? And what are they I guess what sorts of conversations are they having? What sorts of things do they need to maybe here's a different perspective on how you might have thought of this for so long. What does that look like?
Well, that's a really good question, Matthew. I appreciate you asking that. There's no one way to actually define what we do because it's really based on the needs of the community. And so what we do is we go into each community in every county to be able to talk to the community leaders to see what's needed, set up an initial event, pull in the community members, faith communities, churches, uh, synagogues, mosques, whoever we can get in, because what we really want to do is to provide the understanding of how to have the difficult conversations while knowing that you don't have to be the expert. You don't have to be the professional. You just have to really be able to understand how can I sit in this space with this individual and be productive. So a lot of the work that we do is providing education on how to have those discussions, how to understand the individual that is sitting across from you, and to see what's most important in that space, which is really a place of acceptance, regardless, a place of where each individual, each institution of faith can really be able to provide a safe environment for individuals to be real about what's going on, to talk about the troubles that they're having so that they can get access to the resources that they need. That's the biggest piece of it. So what we've also been doing is partnering with other departments and offices that have faith-based initiatives. And so we've been working closely with the Tennessee Department of Health. We've been working closely with the Department of Corrections, TEMA, Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth. We've been working with Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network, as well as creating homes initiatives, a little bit of anyone that we can. So whenever we come in to set up an initial event, we also want to be able to set up a calendar of events and trainings following that.
Yeah.
Not so we can come in and talk to you more about just what we do, but we want to bring in as many resources as we can from the other departments, other offices, so that each community has access to a holistic level of resources for the members of the community, for the congregations, for the faith institutions that are there. The more understanding that we can have and can provide, the less stigma that is out there, because stigma truly comes from ignorance. Ignorance doesn't mean anything negative. What it means is we just don't know. And I haven't been to a single congregation of any faith, any denomination, any tradition that didn't care. But what I do see a lot of times is we've got a lot who care, but they don't know how to provide accurate care. So instead of stepping into that space, they kind of shy away from it. It's just because they don't know how. And we can help that so that there are opportunities for individuals to be able to find that hope that they're looking for. Not only hope, you look at the faith community being the largest demographic in the state, we've got the movers and shakers. That's where you're going to find them. If you want something done, if you want to be able to reach the community, the best way to do it is through the faith community. So it's really empowering each faith institution to become a piece of the wraparound services that are available throughout the state, not just so the individual can find help. It's so that we can find the help and then also come back and be a productive member of the community and to have our purpose in place there with the faith community. Or honestly, with anyone that we can get the individual involved with. Now, I did mention that all of our coordinators are certified peer recovery specialists. If you have 2 years in recovery from substance use and or mental health challenges, you can become a certified peer recovery specialist through the state. It is a free training, and that's something that we're looking for as well. So in each one of our partners, facility, congregation, institution, more than likely they've got some individuals with that lived experience who can become that point person so that the clergy don't have to be that person. Clergy already have quite a bit going on. So if we can utilize someone in that community with lived experience to be that point person, now we're empowering someone who has the lived experience to be able to help someone else who may be where they once were. And really being able to plug these individuals in, it really provides outreach to the community, not only through the trainings that we do, because these are hopefully going to be open to the whole community to serve as an outreach. But this is also allowing someone from that entity in that community to be that point person to help their own folks. It just really, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah. On our last conversation, we talked to Michelle Webster about the growth of the CPRS program, and more than 1,650 currently certified CPR, 28 of whom you employ, 28, 29 of them. So, it's really, really cool to see. I know whenever I go to a conference and your folks are there, they're like rock stars. Like, people want to come up and meet them and talk to them. Like, oh, like, you helped me get in recovery, or I talked to you when I was down here. Now I'm so, jazzed about finding recovery or connecting to resources, that sort of thing. So it's really cool to feel that energy, and I know that has to feel good for you and your people too.
I'll tell you what, to be able to go around and travel and work with our coordinators and work with the different partners, it's really awesome to hear some of our coordinators share their story, because a lot of their recovery story began with Lifeline. And so they call into Lifeline, are able to find the help that they need, be able to go to treatment or whatever recovery service that they may need, have that 2 years of lived experience, get their CPRS. And now I believe that we've got 4 coordinators who have been helped by Lifeline
Wow.
and now are a coordinator through our department.
That's really cool. Talk
It's,
about a legacy, like paving the way and helping. Yeah, wow, that's really awesome. That
well,
is
we've
really
also
cool.
seen, and I personally witnessed this. We went into a community, we held an event. The coordinator come up and he said, "Hey, you see that guy back there in the back?" It's like, "Yeah." Well, he was my drug dealer.
Okay.
He's not dealing anymore.
Wow.
Now he's here. We've seen a lot of times where a lot of the dealers that we worked with in the past,
Yeah.
we've actually got many of them into treatment.
Wow.
And so it is beyond belief the help that is out there.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important things to understand about recovery is what we've seen throughout the life of the initiative is typically the generational impact of trauma, of addiction, of just the basic dysfunction that passes down from generation to generation, goes between 3 and 4 generations is what that typically lasts, until someone finally says it's enough. It's got to stop.
Stops here. Yeah.
And it stops with me.
Yeah.
Well, as a result of that one person being able to find the help that they need, we've seen the secular research come out in the past couple of years that says that that one person who begins their recovery and works hard toward it now has a potential to impact 7 generations in a positive way.
Wow.
3 to 4 generations of dysfunction can lead to 7 generations of healing. Now, the comeback, it can definitely be much better than the setback.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. 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 Well, this is a great point to transition to our 5 questions. Ba-da-da. That was my music, my stinger. Ba-ba-ba. All
Yeah,
right, 5
that was
questions.
nice.
How did you, and I already know the answers to some of these, so y'all are in for some good answers. How did you come to join Team TDMHSAS?
Well, in 2018, I received a call that they were hiring the first faith-based coordinators for the state of Tennessee. And if you didn't know, those were also the first faith-based coordinators for the entire nation, as at that time there was only our faith-based initiatives throughout the nation. So there's a lot of firsts with this. At that time, I was a radio frequency technician, completely, totally different whole situation going on there.
Yeah.
I was already in my recovery and was doing a lot of work with communities. And I went in for the interview and was able to actually begin that job during National Recovery Month. So it was in September of 2018 is whenever I started. My first event was Prevention Coalition for Success is day of Recovery Fest in Murfreesboro. So the Rutherford County Recovery Fest was my first event.
Wow.
And so I served as faith-based coordinator for, I believe, about 3 years. And then I was asked to become, well, I wasn't asked, I applied to become the assistant director of the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. It's a lot of work Monty was doing all by himself as a director. He needed some help. And even whenever I came on board, we still needed some more help. And then whenever Monty transitioned over to the governor's office, I went and I applied to become the director of the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives and eventually was able to transition into this role.
Yeah. Awesome. So question 2, what is an experience, personal or professional, that shaped who you are and still influences you today?
Individuals who are willing to pour into me whenever I didn't believe I was worthy of being poured into. I've had the opportunity, the honor to work with some amazing individuals, to be able to sit at their feet and to learn. That has been the most tremendous impact. And Monty Burks, of course, is one of those individuals. Just to be able to understand how to be effective, how to speak, how to overcome some of my own social anxiety, which there is quite a bit, and to find comfort in this space. I still don't do very well at it sometimes.
Give yourself some credit. You do awesome. You do great.
I mean, whenever you're surrounded by a crowd of folks, that anxiety kicks up. It's just like, okay, I just want to get out of here.
Right.
But presenting, it's a little bit different. To have an opportunity to provide education to the communities is so important. And here's why. We used to do a lot of work in the criminal justice space, and now we have the criminal justice behavioral health liaisons who are working in the court systems, who are working in the criminal justice space to provide that. And a lot of folks ask, well, why don't y'all do that anymore? Well, here's why. I've been to jail a few times in a lot of different places. And every time I got out and I went back to the same community, and guess what happened? I would end up back in jail. A few years ago, I was sitting outside of the Wilson County Jail. I was going in to do some jail ministry, and as I was sitting out there, this individual was released. He came out. He came out the gate. I don't know if you can still see me, but he did this number right here. I'm free!
Yeah.
And he ran across the street from the jail over to the community that he came from. He wasn't free because the community hasn't changed, even if he has. The importance of what we do is we want to provide education to the communities so the communities can become more recovery friendly. And as a result of that, the recidivism rate within the criminal justice system will be reduced as well. So if we're only working with the individuals within the criminal justice system and we're not doing anything to change the mentality of the community, what is the actual benefit to it? This way we can change the community. This way we have a better place to go back to that can provide healing rather than more opportunities to get back in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Question 3. Who is someone who inspires you?
Are you looking for one person or 28?
Specifically one person, but it can be the question is whatever you'd like to make it.
That's tough. The team that we have with the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives, I hear a lot of them say, "Hey, boss," and I always let them know real quick, I'm not your boss. We work together. Because I learn every single day from our folks, from our team. We teach each other. I have such an honor and a privilege to be able to work with Jessica Youngblum, who is my supervisor, and get to learn and to understand more about how we do things with the state, how to be more efficient, how to be more effective. And with every conversation that we have, not only between Jessica and myself, but between the coordinators and myself as well, we all get to become more efficient, more effective, to learn how to be empowering to the communities in a way that's much more smarter, so we can work smarter than harder. I think if I were to pick out one individual that has been most influential to me, that would be very difficult to do. I do know that Randall Burge, Kurt Johnson. Randall is our hybrid lifeliner for Region 2. We also have Kurt Johnson, who is our lifeliner for Region 4. Jessica has been a huge inspiration for the work that we're able to do. And I couldn't imagine working for a better team, whether it's with the coordinators or with the state. And honestly, Matthew, you've been a huge inspiration to me as well. The willingness that you have to just put the word out there, allow as many people as possible to know that hope is available. Without the work that you have done, we could never be where we are. So thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure, man. I see the results. Every time I connect with something that your office does, it just lifts you up. Can't help but feel good about it. All right, so that leads into question 4. What is the best part of your job? The best part of your job. Single. You have to choose one. You can. It's like choosing favorite ice cream flavors. You can't have more than one. You can't have more than one best friend. What is the best part of your job?
The reason why I do what I do, whether it's in this capacity or whenever I'm providing clinical services to individuals that I see, the reason I do what I do is because I get to watch that light bulb turn on. You get to see the individuals get it. Not just, oh, I can get help now. That's not just what they're getting. What they're able to understand is that I do have worth. I do have value. I am not the mistake. I have made mistakes. Now it's time to learn from them so that I can do better tomorrow than I did today. Whenever you see that light bulb turn on and you see that life change, and not only that life, but the life of their children, the life of the future generations that are even yet to come, that's why I do what I do.
It's really cool. Yeah. I get to experience that just talking to people about it. But to see that firsthand and to have been in those shoes too, it's just no, that's too cool. All right. Last question. Fifth question. Yeah. And this is going to be the easiest one. What are you excited about?
The future of the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. I was just in a meeting with Matt Yancey and Jessica and Pastor Young a few minutes ago, and that question was almost posed in that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The future of the initiative. The work that we're already doing is amazing. But what we have in process to expand upon what we're doing, utilizing other departments and offices and the resources that are available to provide access to a holistic level of care across the state, to be able to get the communities involved, to empower them to help themselves. There's nothing better. I'm excited about the future of this initiative.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so somebody's watching this and they want to bring a training or something similar to their faith community. How do they reach out to you? How do they get a part of it?
If they want to be trained, perfect. We actually have our educational services packet. You can go on to our website. I'm sure Matthew will have that come up probably at the bottom of the screen somewhere, so you can get access to the website. You can go down to trainings that we provide. You can download our educational services packet, which is not an exhaustive list of the trainings that we do, but it is our more frequently used trainings throughout the community. We'd love to be able to come out and work with your group, with your organization, with your department, with your office, to allow you to understand a little bit more about the initiative and how to create a better environment for individuals to ask for help. We also have our on-demand trainings. So if you wanted to get on and see some of the trainings that we can provide across the state, that would be a good place for you to go to. That's going to be on the website as well. If you're interested in working with the congregation or community of faith that you're a part of, and you want to see if y'all want to become a partner with us, that information is on there as well. You can fill out the interest form. We'll have myself or one of the coordinators get in contact with you and see what your goals are, because here's our agenda. Yeah, we got one. We have an agenda. Our agenda is to figure out what your agenda is,
right,
and to help you reach your goals. We don't want to come and take over anything.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to walk beside and help you get to where you want to go, and to see past the potential that you can only see for yourself, and to see that there's so much more that is possible. We want to work with you to what your capacity is to help you get where you want to go. That's it.
Awesome. So yeah, TN.gov/behavioral-health/faith.
Yes.
Gotta have faith, right, George Michael?
Get to have faith.
Oh, he's singing. We did not have that on my bingo card. Well, that is a perfect place to leave it, with laughs and fun and so much heart. So thank you, Jaime. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for all that you do for our team.
It's an honor. Thank you, Matthew.